the stream. Good morning. Hasn't come to a full boil yet. Gotta wait a few minutes. If you're wondering, I'm baking bagels this morning. I'll get that out of the way now. morning. Welcome to the stream. Bacon bagels. As you may know, I do this every morning. Most mornings, I guess. Oh. Hello. I don't have much to say this morning, so maybe I'll just recite some poetry. Unless you have some questions, maybe you have some comments. It's too early for conversation, I know. I feel ya. It's never too early for yoga, though. Never too early. Too early, never too early. This is a Pied Piper of Hamelin by Robert Browning. Hamelin towns in Brunswick, like famous Hanover City. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles. Split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests of the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor is a nod, and as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with ermine for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking to find the remedy we are lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing." At this the mayor and corporation quaked with mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council, at length the mayor broke silence. "Before I gilder eyed my ermine gown sell, I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain, I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, trap, trap. Think he said this what should hap, at the chamber door but a gentle tap. Bless us, cried the mayor, what's that? With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat, nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister, than a too long opened oyster, save at noon his paunch grew mutinous, for a plate of turtle green and glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. "Come in," cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin. Their tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin, while lips were smiling out and in. There was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, it's as my great-grandsire, starting up at the trumpet tune's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone. He advanced towards the council table, and please, your honor, said he, I am able, by means of secret charm to draw, all the creatures living beneath the sun, the crawler, swimmer, fly, or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper. The people call me the Pied Piper. And here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe to match with his coat of self-same check. And at scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so full fangled. Yes, said he, Pied Piper as I am, in Tartary I fred the cam, last June from its huge swarms of gnats. I eased in Asia the Nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders? 50,000 was the exclamation of an astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept, glowed his pipe, his lips were wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and the muttering grew to a grumbling, and the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling, great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, horny rats, brave old plotters, gay young creatures, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, talking tails and prickly whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, 2 round until his commentary, which was, at first shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as a scraping tripe, putting apples wondrous ripe, into the cider press to bright, and a moving away of pickle top boards, and leaving a jar of concert cupboards, and a drawing the corks of train oil flasks, and a breaking hoops of butter casks. And it seems as if a voice sweeter far than by harps by psaltery breathed, called out, O rats, rejoice, the world has grown to a vast sultry. So munch on, crunch on, take your nunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and this a bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone, gracious, scarcely for me, just methought it said come for me, I found the Weser rolling over me. You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells till they rocked the steeple. Go, cried the mayor, get long poles, poke out the nests and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats, when suddenly up the face of the piper perked in the marketplace. The first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders, the mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too, for council dinners made rare havoc with claret, moselle, vintage, graf, hawk, and half the money would replenish their cellars big as butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes the vermin sink, and what's dead can't come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not folks to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your coat. But as for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you well know, was a joke. Besides, our losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come, take 50. The piper's face fell, and he cried, no trifling, I can't wait beside. I promised a visit by dinner time, Baghdad, and accept the crime of the head cook's pottage. All he's rich in, for having left in the caliph's kitchen, of a nest of scorpions, no survivor. With him I prove no bargain driver. With you don't think I'll bait a stiver. The folks who put me in a passion may find me pipe after another fashion. How, cried the mayor, do you think I broke, being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a rival, with idle pipe and vesture piebald? Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe there till you burst. Once more he stepped to his lips again laid his long pipe of smooth straight cane, and ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes, yet musician's cunning never gave in rapture there. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling, a very sound justling, a pitching and hustling. Small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, and little tongues chattering, and like foals in a farmyard when barley is cattering, out came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls. Tripping and skipping ran merrily after, the wonderful music was shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb and the council stood, as if they're chained into blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry to the children merrily skipping by. Could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd of pipers back, and how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council looked at me as the piper turned from High Street, to where the western rolls waters brighten the way of their sons and daughters. How we returned from south to west, and to Coppleburg Hill the steps addressed. And he never can cross the mighty top, whose voice is like a piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reach the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. The piper advanced and the children followed. And when all were into the very last, the door in the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No one was lame, and could not dance the whole of the way. And in after years, if you would blame his sadness, he was used to say, all on our towns as my playmates left, I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led us to such a joyous land, joining the town in just at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, and flowers before us fair to view, and everything was strange and new. The sparrow was bright and the peacock here, and their dogs outran our fellow deer, and honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born with eagle's wings, and just as I became assured, my lame foot be speedily cured. The music stopped and I stood still, and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas for Hamlin, there came to many a burning street, a text which says that heaven's gate opes so rich at as easy rate, as the needle's eye takes a candle in. The mayor said east, west, north, and south, to offer the piper by word of mouth, wherever was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went, and bring the children behind him. But when they saw 'twas lost endeavor, and piper and dancers were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year, these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here on the 22nd of July, 1376, in a better memory fixed place of the children's last retreat, they called it the Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing piper tabor was sure for his future to lose his labor, nor suffer they possibly in a tavern, to shop or immerse the street so solemn, and opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote the story on a column, and on great church window painted, the same to make the world acquainted, how their children were stolen away, and there it stands this very day. And I must not omit to say, that in Transylvania there is a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress of which their neighbors lay such stress to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison into which they were trepanned a long time ago in a mighty band out of Hamlin towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So Willie, let me and you be wipers of scores out with old men, especially pipers, and whether they pipe us free from rats or from mice, if we promise them aught, let us keep our promise. Good morning, viewer. Hola, mi amigo. ¿Cómo está? Morning. Glad you're able to watch this morning. side. You too. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. One day God said, this is what I'll do. I'll send down my son, I'll send him down to you to clear up this humpty-bumpty hullabaloo. His name will be Christ, and he'll never wear shoes, and his pals will call him the King of the Jews. He didn't come in a plane, he didn't come in a jeep, he didn't come in the pouch of high-jumping go beep. He rode on the back of a black Saskatoon, the blackiest creature you ever could view. He rode into Jerusalem, home of the grumpy Jews, where false prophets were worshipped, some even in tombs. Murray von Murr and Genghis Vaubouz, the one you could worship taking a snooze. Christ spoke from a mound, which the pile of ground, and people gathered round without making a sound. Thus he spake, sin and socks full of sin. How shall we quiet this Jehovah din? Do unto others as others do unto you. That includes you, Timothy Foo. And one Pharisee said to another he knew, what shall we do about this uppity Jew? Wash him in wine and make him all clean, and into Sam Biddle's crucifixion machine. Twirl the whirl and release the gablees, and in go the nails as fast as you please. And he said as he fled, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, because they walk through this world as who walk to property shoes. Do you? Amen. That was the Dr. Seuss Bible by Kids in the Hall. I recommend you watch that sketch if you've never watched it before. It's one of their best. Welcome to the stream. How's everybody doing? Or I guess there's just one of you watching right now. How are you doing, viewer? Making bagels this morning. I'm doing well, thank you. Muy bueno. Sorry. A little bit tired. I'm making bagels, Montreal style bagels. I like to say Montreal bagels, Vancouver style. That's my motto. My work motto. Mantra. Slogan. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with a malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee that purse and scourged its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? Let's save to waylay with his lies and snare all travelers who might find him posted there. And ask the road, I guess what skull like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous tract where old greed hides the dark tower, yet acquiescingly I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that disreptous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring my heart made finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes farewell of each friend, and bids one the other go, freely draw breath freely outside, since all is over, he said, and the blow fallen no grieving can amend. While some discuss if near other graves be room enough for this, and when a day suits best for carrying the corpse away, with caribou banners, scarfs, and staves, and still the man hears all and only craves, he may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so oft being writ, so many times among the band who went, that just to fail as they seem, the knights who to dark towers search addressed their steps, that just to fail as they seem best, and all doubt was now should I be fit. So quiet as despair I turned from him, that hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path appointed. All day had been a dreary one at best. The dim was settling into its close. Yet shot one grim red leer to see the plain catches strayed. For mark, no sooner was I fairly found, pledged to the plain after a pace or two, the pausing to throw back to where the last view over the safety was gone. A great plain all round, nothing but plain to the horizon ground. But it rises now, I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went. I think I never saw such starved, ignoble nature. Nothing throw, for flowers as well expect the cedar grow, but chortle and spurge according to their law, and propagate their kind with none to awe. You think a bird being a treasure trove. No penury and inertness ingramates, in some strange sort worth the land's portion. See or close your eyes, said nature peevishly, in nothing skills. I can't help my case. 'Tis last judgment's fire must cure this place. Calcine its pods and set my prisoners free. If there pushed any ragged thistle stalk above its mate, its head was chopped. The bents were jealous of. What made the holes and rents in the dock's harsh stroke leaves, bruised as to balk all hope of greenness. 'Tis a brute must walk, passing their life out with roots and tents. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair and leprosy. Thin, dry blades pricked the mud, which underneath looked kneaded up with blood. One stiff, blind horse, his every bone is bare, stood stupefied however he came there, thrust out past service from the devil's stud. Alive, he might be dead for aught I know, with shut eyes beneath, with red gaunt and callous neck astrain, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brave brute I hated so. He must have been wicked to deserve such pain. of women, and wise heart's words, and men at arms and their nobility. The colloquies of love, the songs of birds, and handsome ships on the fast-running sea. The calmness of air as daybreak looms. White snow on a windless day. A flowing brook, a meadow full of blooms. Gold and silver in array. Gold and silver and lapis in array. Morning. ¿Cómo está? Hola. Hungry. Can't help you unless you come here. Just come down and get a bagel. It's the first batch of sesame. No one's ready. This one is bagels. you. Hello, hola mi amigo, ¿cómo está? Adios, ciao. Those guys are smoking a joint. You want to watch some guys smoke some weed? Let's get this on camera. See, they're smoking it right in front of the Sticky's Candy. Smoking some weed. Smoking a joint in front of Sticky's Candy. Don't worry, they do this every morning. They smoke, they get out of their little car, their little Acura car, and they go over to stand in front of Sticky's Candy, and they smoke a joint. Then they go into Starbucks, get a coffee. Right in front of Sticky's Candy, there's two guys smoking a joint. I'm baking on the other side of the camera. I just thought, you know, might be a little entertaining to watch them smoke their joint. I watch them smoke their joint every morning. I work, anyways. I don't know if they smoke. I'm baking though. They're baking too. Metaphorically speaking. I'm literally baking. Literally. Okay, that's enough of that. They're almost done. Hola. La 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 la.
I'm crushing your head.
crushing your head, crushing your head, crush your head, crush. Welcome to stream. How are you doing this morning? I'm doing well. Muy bueno. I need some coffee. I'm gonna go to Starbucks, get me a coffee, and a smoothie, coffee and a smoothie. Like I said, I'm going to go to Starbucks, so I'm going to shut down the stream. Thanks for watching. Have an excellent morning. See you soon.